You are muted.
There. Hopefully I sound something. There I am. Okay. Another day of whatever happened at the movies. So next week there is Superman Legacy, and it's the final little bit of countdown for that. We're going to talk a little about the animated films they made about Superman. So starting with the really old ones, with some overlap from last time, and ending with more recent. And of course there are, say, Justice League movies, but I'm trying to make specifically Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And joining me is Albelio. Thank you. So,
hello.
First is news. First going to the news. There. So going back to the start, favorite Superman media. So first is there's more announcements on the PS6 or PlayStation 6, and Sony has said we're not going to do cloud gaming at this time. It's expensive to run the infrastructure for that, but we will allow remote play from a portable device, from your PlayStation on your home Wi-Fi network. I can understand streaming isn't cheap. It costs. And for a lot of streamed media, it's hard to not run a deficit. In fact, at least this is separate, but for streaming, movies and television shows, the only one streaming service that really is a net gain in money, and even then, it's not always a net gain in money, is Netflix, due to how many customers they have. But so I can understand if Sony decides, hey, we're not going to do cloud gaming like Xbox.
I'm kind of surprised that they're going in the direction of mobile gaming, but at the same time not, because Nintendo has cornered that market for so long. Or am I misunderstanding?
No, I mean, Nintendo has pretty much been dominant, but PlayStation and now Xbox have tried to at least have a foot in it. So far, you could use a Steam Deck or whatever mobile phone plays the cloud gaming app, which is Android or iOS. You can play them, but you have a subscription to use the cloud. But I mean, the cloud isn't perfect, at least for me, and I don't have exactly the best kind of internet connection at home. It's where if I have other people watching Netflix in the house, I will lag on streaming from the cloud when I try to do it.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's that, and if my power's out, my internet's out.
Sure.
And I don't want to waste mobile phone data on that. So, but streaming it's expensive, and a lot of things I do not regret that I have them on DVD or Blu-ray because I don't need the internet to do that.
I cannot fathom how logistically making a physical copy of a game and letting people play offline, and then just providing an internet, like just providing servers for people to play, is somehow more expensive than cloud gaming. Like I can't wrap my head around the logistics here.
Well, I mean, with the Xbox cloud gaming, there's a monthly subscription fee, and you only access those cloud games when you're paying the subscription fee, which is, it's more expensive than Netflix to do that. It's any number of games, but how many months are you going to say play if you got Halo? I mean, I've got Halo the Master Chief Collection using Steam, and for me, I paid that one time, and if I added up the time, I probably have multiple months. So yeah, sure, Master Chief Collection cost me 3 months worth of Xbox cloud gaming. Assume I wanted to play just that on the cloud, but it pays off because I've owned it for almost a year.
How much does the cloud gaming cost for Xbox?
It's around $20 per month.
What?
Yeah, well, the more expensive option is if you don't want to stream off of just one device. So if you wanted to have cloud gaming on both your PC and your mobile devices, it's more expensive. But if you want to do it cheap and have your cloud gaming to just one device, it's about half of that. It's closer to 15.
Goodness, that's terrible. Like,
I mean,
I already don't like that you can't access things if you don't have like a membership like Nintendo does. But Nintendo's online thing is $5 a month.
yeah, $5 a month to play a version of a game you probably already have, or maybe you don't. But from NES all the way up to now, Nintendo 64, it's GameCube. If you're using a Nintendo Switch 2, and you download the game from the Switch store online to your, the hard drive of your Nintendo device.
Yeah,
It works just like that. So it's, if someone were really desperate to play the most advanced game without getting a new device, I can understand that. Or if they just want to try out like what a game was like, fine. I don't know. To me, I do not regret the fact that I own the movies and games I do on disc.
I'm so glad that I do. Like, I don't ever have to like pay for Netflix so I can watch Evangelion or something,
Yeah, and even then, the schedule fluctuates. The schedule for what's streaming as a free thing fluctuates for Amazon or Netflix. So at that point, if you want to access it at whatever time you have the internet, you would want to own a digital copy and stream it that way. But I don't know. If I value something so much, I will own it as a DVD or Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't, if I see it as a rental, I'll rent it that way.
Basically, physical media always matters. People should never have walked away from it.
Oh, so Chaos, you're asking me how that works to Switch 2? So because like Switch 2, the games that are native to Nintendo, like Mario, Zelda, or Metroid, those are within a data limit for the cards. So the Nintendo Switch 2 and the Nintendo Switch as well have their own architecture for cards that hold games. On the Nintendo Switch 1, it was up to 32 gigabytes was the limit on a card. With Switch 2, the limit is up to 64 gigabytes. And so far, Nintendo's plan is to have the native Nintendo games, like the Mario games, Zelda games, Metroid, and so on, for the Switch 2, be within the limit, and you get the whole game on the card. The only third party, like when you're talking about not Nintendo, but say Capcom or Konami and so on, that has made it within the limit of 64 gigabytes, and I talked about this last week, was CD Projekt Red. They compressed over 150 gigabytes for their full game with all the DLCs of Cyberpunk 2077 into below the 64 gigabyte limit. So they're the one third party that has the whole game on the card. Now, for key cards on Nintendo Switch 2, you can just put the key card in whatever Switch unit. It's not restricted that way. The only thing is that the key card is for these third parties where they don't hold the whole game on the card. So you have to download it from the Nintendo server by having the card in your Switch. It's basically a hybrid between a digital game and a physical, because you can do what you can do with the physical. Like you could resell a key card for, say, Street Fighter 6, and someone could use it. Someone else could just put it in their Switch and use it. But they don't have the game on the card. The main Nintendo games on Switch 2, they have the whole game on 64 gigabytes or less. I hope that answers it for you, Chaos.
Will I thought the game keycards were going to have a connection to your account. Am I
They
wrong?
aren't specific. No, they are not specific to your account. But the thing is, the key card is the authorization to download the game. And even then, it's not the native Nintendo-based games like Mario that are doing that. It's Capcom, Konami, or the third party, or I guess CD Projekt Red is an exception, but it's these third parties that aren't native to Nintendo that are saying, well, okay, we cannot hold our whole game in the 64 gigabyte limit of these full game cards, so we'll just use the key card system with Nintendo. But I don't know. I can anticipate the possibility that just like with the higher data cartridges near the end of Nintendo 64, they might have key cards that are, say, 124 gigabytes eventually, depending on how long the Switch 2 is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so we'll see. But so far, Nintendo is keeping what's their games within the 64 gigabyte limit so that it fits on the full game card. But yeah, I mean, I'm calling the key cards a hybrid because you can resell it and you can put it in other Switches and it works as if it's a card, as if it's a card. It's just that you need to have it in the Switch for it to do the download, and you need to have it in the Switch to play it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just wasn't sure about the being able to use the key card in different Switches, because there was a
you can't.
Because that was the only thing I was confused on, because I thought it did track the key card to your account, because apparently in order to make the Switch 2 work, you have to link the Switch 2 to your Nintendo account, which means you retroactively have to update your Switch 1. And now the terms of service about being able to brick your system now applies to the Switch 1. So if you mod either of them, it gets bricked and your account gets shut down. So it's like they are like, everyone is playing with a tight noose, and at a moment's notice they'll drop it out from under you and it's over.
Yeah, it could be. I tried this because people were telling me like I can't use the Nintendo Wii store, so I tried it again. So what happens with the Wii and 3DS store is that you cannot make new purchases there. You have to go to the Switch store, but you could download games that you purchased if you bought them on the Wii or 3DS before they discontinued. So again, that wouldn't apply to most people, because you'd have to make the purchase before they discontinued the Nintendo store, which was for the Wii and 3DS.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Nintendo is basically a generation behind what Xbox and PlayStation already do. I mean, the discs that you could get for PS5, PS4, and Xbox One, you had to have the disc in the console to play it, but the actual download was from the internet. So they were doing this hybrid system a generation before Nintendo. The main thing facing Nintendo right now is if their own games don't keep up with their momentum that they used to have. Because that's mainly what Nintendo does. Is mainly Nintendo leans on their native Nintendo games like Mario or Zelda to sell. Third-party games come late to Nintendo, and that's been the case since the Nintendo Wii. Is that if you wanted to get the version on Wii, well, you'd wait for years or months or years after they got it on Xbox and PlayStation already.
And a lot of that is part of like detuning the game so that it fits on the console.
All right. And they already did a bricking because it was with stolen Nintendo Switch 2s. Somebody over in Arizona, I believe it was a group of people, managed to grab half the packages of Switch 2 units on their way to GameStop out of the back of the truck. So they did a remote deactivation as if it were like a cell phone.
How did they know that they were stolen?
Yeah, that's the part I'm wondering, is how they knew if this, unless maybe the truck had some logo that it was going to GameStop or some disgruntled employee on the inside. I don't know.
I wonder if Nintendo has like uh I wonder if it has a checklist in like there's only gonna there like every Switch that's made has a specific number or
It has a
model
serial
number.
number, yeah.
Yeah, something. And so it's like, oh, this system has been activated, but it wasn't officially purchased. Kill it.
Right. I mean, even then, my best guess is that there's there usually exists a black market for spare parts for consoles or
Sure.
phones, and my guess is the theft is for they can just sell the parts, even if it's like a third or a fifth of what the cost was in parts. A lot of people were willing to collect that much money. I mean, people still right now are stealing like $500 cell phones, even if they can only get 150 to 200 for the parts. Because whether it's the phone carrier will shut them down, will shut down the phone so it has no internet and no cell phone data. But I don't want to get lost on this too long. Also, they've announced that they wanted to move Legend of Zelda from March 2027 all the way to May 2027, and they cited that's a more ideal release time as summer vacation is nearing. So I think that sounds about right. March generally is pretty dull. I mean, although when was Minecraft released? I'm trying to remember. Was that April?
Yes, I believe.
Okay, April. Yeah, I mean, I just think May is when it's getting closer to the end of the school year. A lot of people are just have more time for the weekends and elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
2 months ago.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, like April or May. I want to say it was April.
Yeah. Shadow. I mean, Nintendo's pretty much treating Switch 2 like it's a cell phone. That's pretty much what they're doing. Like, if people report their cell phones as stolen, they shut off the internet connection to them, and you can't use them for calls. So it is ridiculous. But I mean, right now, unless you've got an older console like I have the Nintendo Wii, I mean, it's kind of dependent with the newer consoles to be internet connected.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with PlayStation and Xbox, even with the discs, you need the internet to actually download the game. I mean, Nintendo's doing what Xbox and PlayStation did in the previous generations. They're just catching up. I mean, yeah, Shadow. I mean, the thing I won't keep too long, but the thing with Legend of Zelda is I feel it works. It makes more sense to be animated than live action. I mean, the way that the games are, they look animated, and they have the tone of something animated as well. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that to me is still the most bewildering decision about all of it. Is it's not going to be animated? What do you mean?
I mean, plenty of CGI for sure, but
sure,
I don't know.
Sure.
I think they're doing it because they've got to be doing it because of some kind of reputation for live action. But I mean, I don't know. I felt, this is mostly for my kids, but I felt like the Minecraft movie was pretty much animated except for the actors. And if you change it to be just animated, who would tell the difference?
A lot of it actually was practical. Like a lot of the.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm just saying there was tons of CGI. In some sequences there were CGI creatures, but yeah, you're right. A lot of the like the grassy areas was actual grass.
I agree.
Okay, so going to this, it depends on which of these animated movies Albella and I have seen. I haven't seen them all yet. it's to me, it's a question of picking and choosing what I watch with the time I have, and Albelio as well. I mean, we're here on YouTube, but it's our hobby, and we have other things to do in life. But yeah, movies. This is like serials. Animation is technically movies, short movies, but movies nonetheless. So Max Fleischer made a series of short movies. This is before Warner Brothers owned the rights to making DC comic character movies. So it was originally it was Paramount in the 1940s when they made these. Yeah, like Shadow Master. Some of the Max Fleischer episodes are public domain, but that's because the copyright holders decided to make them that way. They didn't become based on a time expiration. And again, if you are a copyright holder, that's your choice. You can make something public domain if you are the creator. Some people do it. I mean, maybe you have something that, just doesn't make you much money anymore, and you wouldn't mind maybe having your old movies that you made used because you could see it as advertising for you. I don't know. So, anything else you want to add about that, Albelio? Because we talked about it last time, but
not really. I think
yeah,
I think you covered it.
Yeah. So, World's Finest. It was originally aired on television in 1997. Contains all three parts of the crossover involving Superman and Batman versus Lex Luthor and the Joker. I didn't actually see this on video. I watched the episodes on Amazon, which is great. I mean, I like how Amazon Amazon just puts this as part of the Superman collection, and the Batman collection is how they do it. So,
yeah, never. If I have seen this, if I've seen any of it, it's so far in the past I just do not recall. I might have mixed it up with the old thing. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Despite being a movie reviewer, I have watched shockingly little things because I get pulled in other directions.
yeah, I mean, I seen the episodes on Amazon, all three parts, and it's all right. It was a nice way to get these legends of voice acting for these Warner Brothers animation all together. It was basically involved. The Joker stole a green dragon from a Chinese museum that turns out to be, obviously kryptonite.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how it would be in a Chinese museum for so long. I guess I don't know. Yeah, that's DC Comics lore. I mean, DC Comics.
No one ever accused comics of having great writing all the time. It's like everyone.
Well, I mean, this the story is rewritten.
Is great.
So, I mean, sometimes in DC Comics, it's been that Krypton was in another galaxy. Sometimes it's been that it's only like in the New 52, it's only like 30 light years away from Earth. I don't know.
Sure, but it's like the majority. It's just like movies. Like the vast majority are actually really bad. Everyone, I know everyone will hype up like what's that? Killing Joke for Batman. It's like the Killing Joke is like one of the best Batman stories, but it's like it's got a lot of rough patches through it, right?
Right. A lot of people weren't happy with how it was different from the actual graphic novel by Alan Moore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was pretty, all the way through at the end. The crazy part, I guess, is that they made it Killing Joke canon, because at the end it leaves it up to you to think, like, why did the Joker stop laughing? Did Batman choke him or something? I don't know.
Yeah, there's a heavy implication, but nothing more beyond that. I don't know. Like I really like. I appreciate comics for what they are, but the like the number one reason I've gotten into them is, or I did not get into them, is because most of these stories suck. If it,
Yeah,
just
I mean,
plain and simple, they do.
I do like some stories by themselves, and for DC Comics, a lot of those are Elseworlds. Like, I got the whole big trade paperback for Superman Red Sun,
Mhm.
but or the Dark Knight Returns, but I don't know. Canon for comic books has frustrated me to no end. Like, what they consider canon is generally less consistent than what they consider to be not canon.
Yeah, because often the non-canon stuff is where a lot of the more unique and interesting stories come from.
Oh yeah. So Brainiac Attacks, I actually watched this because they have it on YouTube for free, even though they released it in 2006.
Neat.
It's not related to the animated television series at all, and they've changed a lot of things. I think Lance Henriksen sounded pretty good as Brainiac.
Oh, neat.
Yeah,
Of course, Bishop would play would play
another
the machine.
robot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's fun. It's fun if you see it as a like an extra long TV episode, but I mean, it's an early effort. And you do get Tim Daly and Dana Delaney back as Superman and Lois Lane. So
Nice.
yeah. So Superman Doomsday. You have released in 2007. It's the first animated film attempt they tried to make the death and return of Superman in. Adam Baldwin, and Hetchy, and James Marsters, and Ray Wise. I mean, I remember Ray Wise a lot for RoboCop, and he's the president in Command and Conquer Red Alert 2. So,
yeah, I really like this movie, but I mean, heroic sacrifice is like the easiest way to tug at my heartstrings anyway. So I always did find it goofy that like because Doomsday's power set is always so ridiculous that like as long as he doesn't like if he's never died in a specific manner, then you can kill him in that way, but never again. And I find it really funny that there's no other. You're telling me that throughout all of his history, no one was ever strong enough to just pile drive him really hard.
well, I mean,
that was enough to kill him and Superman.
They punched each other in the comics. He put the spear into Doomsday in the live action Dawn of Justice, and
yeah,
they did the punch fest again. They finally did the death and return of Superman. Yeah, I mean, Chaos. It was you were young, you were little when it happened, but it was a big publicity, and I was little too, so I didn't quite get it. Like, they even put it on the news, and I was confused. I was like really little. It's like, what do you mean Superman's dead? Like, what do you mean Superman's dead? And it was he got a lot of publicity.
I'm reading the comics right now. He's talking to Lois.
Well, yeah. But yeah, they even did a mock news story of Superman dying when they did the comic book with Doomsday. So I didn't get it because obviously I was too little for a lot of those things.
It's like it's like that Family Guy joke with Stewie. He's like, "Did you know that Chris Farley is dead? That's weird. He's upstairs on the TV right now, making me laugh."
Oh, right, Chris Farley. Yeah, that was sad, but yeah, they rewrote. So I like this one. Yeah, so Shadow, like a lot of people who don't follow comics a lot, don't realize that that's his son, John. That's by, but yeah,
Don't get me on that, man.
it's not Clark. It's the son of Clark Kent. But
Yeah.
for a lot of people, it's confusing. It's like, I mean, I would expect it to be more confusing than people wondered. Like, how is there a white Black Panther? Well, it's an alternate universe story where T'Challa had a child from his affair. So, how do you explain that? There was also the hype with New 52 of like what superhero was going to be but it turned out that it wasn't in the New 52. It wasn't Superman. It was Alan Scott, and they made him younger too. It's like that defeats the point of Alex Scott. He's supposed to be the younger, more experienced superhero. Like that's what Alan Scott was throughout After Crisis on Infinite Earths. Like, what are you doing, DC?
Yeah, I haven't seen the whole movie, but I do like the art a bit more.
Yeah.
And I really like the interaction when Superman's got the he got shot with the kryptonite in his chest, and he's laying there, and Batman's trying to pull it out. He's like, I don't know if I can pull it out before the wound heals. And he's like, you think you could speed? Where's the Flash when you need it? He's like, this is not the time to joke. And Superman's like,
right.
You should buy it. You should buy a sense of humor.
Yeah, I'm afraid I don't have it. Yeah. So yeah, it was they use it wasn't it's not related to the TV series anyways, but they did get Kevin Conroy and Tim Daly and Clancy Brown back for it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the fun part about it. And it went with the whole status quo of Lex Luthor got elected president of the United States.
Yeah.
Then they had the sequel next year, Apocalypse, which is more about Darkseid.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see this one. I saw Public Enemies though.
Is this the one where Darkseid
Supergirl arrives,
beats the crap out of Supergirl and nearly kills her, and Superman just goes berserk at the end?
Yeah, he also claps his hands to knock out Supergirl, but just by clapping his hands together really hard.
Okay. I haven't seen all of this either. I've mainly seen the fight scenes. Although it's funny because in that bottom image where it's like Darkseid's like granddaughter or whatever, it's funny because the girl on the left is she just got out of the shower. Wonder Woman and Superman show up, and they knock on the door respectfully. And then she's like, all right, fine, come in, we'll talk. And then she turns around, all the doors have been locked, and Batman's just standing there like he broke in because he wasn't going to play nice.
You didn't want to go through the door. That's right. Now, this is what I managed to catch on Netflix way back when I was, a young adult. It was sadly the last written work of, as I show his picture right here, Dwayne McDuffie, the guy who made Static Shock. It was his last one. Okay. Sadly, he died the day after it got released on home video. Oh wait, no, the day before it did. So it was it was unfortunate. Yeah. He had also written episodes of the animated Justice League. He had written episodes on television of Static Shock, and written comic books for a number of Marvel and DC Comics titles. So February 22nd, 2011. You can still buy the comic book series for this. It was a out of canon. And I'll show some pictures of what All-Star Superman looks like in comic book form. It was I liked this style very much.
Yeah, it's similar. It's in the vein of, but not of the quality of the old Kingdom Come artwork that like really, really good, realistic one.
Alex Ross did Kingdom Come, yeah. But this is it. This is it. I mean, I think Frank Fradley is pretty good with the penciling and drawing in the lines.
Oh yeah. So
this is from the series.
Great picture, great art, all of it. I also really like that this is often the image that, or not always, but this is often the image that people use for that Superman meme, the one using Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah.
Actually, that picture right there, that one where he's helping the girl, that they ruined that picture. They ruined that panel.
They left it out of the movie too.
No. So I didn't explain what I mean. Sorry. It's either her or it's another one. There are two girls that he saves from jumping.
Right.
And both of them are very uplifting, very strong moments, because it helps to show like this is who Superman is supposed to be.
Right.
One of the comics, I don't remember which run, but they completely destroy it by having
one of them was
one of those girls
was JSA. One of them was JSA. The other one was All Star Superman. It was a different story, though.
I don't remember which one it is, but either which one, whoever wrote the comic, like however long after, they committed it to they made the girl commit the jump. She's gone. So everything that Superman did in whichever one of those two to try and save that person and encourage them to keep going, they threw it away.
Oh.
I hate it. I hate what they did with that.
Oh yeah. Don't mention The Boys, please.
Boys is terrible. I'm so sick and tired of people trying to argue that it's a good show, let alone a good comic. I took the time to research. They're terrible. Like I can't do it. I cannot do it.
Now this is the next one. I
love this movie.
Okay, yeah, I've seen this one too.
Yay, one we've both seen and completely.
So, what's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way? That's what it's from. And yeah, I mean, I liked Manchester. It just didn't feel like he had much. He could be a great recurring villain, but as a one story arc villain, I really enjoyed him.
Well, it's kind of hard to make him a recurring villain when you get lobotomized.
Well, right. It's just that it's hard to make him have the same amount of menace that he did if you know you can lobotomize him to fix it. But as a single story, I really enjoyed it because it was a big argument. You can go on. It's a big argument between him and Superman.
Yeah, good movie, good theme, good message at the end as well. I because when they showed Superman going kind of berserk and unleashing his power, I was like, that's weird. There's got to be a reason, right?
Right. Yeah, he went into orbit in Mach 7. Oh, yikes!
Yeah, I can just now hear the pop. Great line, really scary. I like that because that's, how they need to address something like that instead of fully committing to the idea of Superman being evil. I'm so sick to death of that trope because it's always something stupid.
Even then, I'd say that in the Superman the Animated Series, he was pretty good at being intimidating at points when he wanted to. I mean, he understood that a man who shows no fear is the scariest one.
Mm-hmm.
So that in an early episode where he's asking about where Lana is, he smacks the gun out of the guy's hand, grabs him by the collar, holds him out the window, and says, "You want to talk? You want to tell me where she is?" So yes, Superman Unbound from 2013.
I don't know what this is.
So this is it's another animated one. It's another animated one featuring the arrival of Supergirl. It's not related at all to Apocalypse, but it features Superman versus Brainiac and discovering the lost city of Kandor. So
Okay.
it was pretty interesting. Hour and a half of enjoyment there, but it took quite a trip. So they go from one part to another, but they do a pretty good job of keeping the pace steady up to the end.
Okay.
So this is the last one before before Warner Bros. Decide we'll make a consolidated continuity with animated DC Comics films. That's where we got Justice League War, Flashpoint Paradox, and of course the one where everyone's gone in Dark Apocalypse War.
Ugh.
Yeah. So that was the reboot.
Because I know we've gone over that one, man. Ugh.
Yeah. So releasing this, I'm just doing two parts in the same one, and this is when they finally did Death or Return of Superman with all four of the Superman successors in the movie.
Mm-hmm. And this was that New 52 movie, right?
DCAMU, yes.
Okay.
It made more sense than what we got with Rebirth and Doomsday Clock. That's just my opinion, how they ended it. But it was less convoluted. But my main disappointment when they did the DCAMU was they kept alternating between Justice League and Batman, and they did this Superman-focused one when it was just about to be the reboot. So that was the disappointment.
Yeah, I did watch Death of Superman. I have not watched Reign of the Supermen. It was really funny watching Lex Luthor get into the suit and try to fight Doomsday and getting torn to pieces. Like the suit got destroyed, not him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I can't say given Doomsday sideburns was for the best.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't overall like Dawn of Justice, but I did enjoy how Doomsday was getting stronger. They were having the spike bones coming out of him gradually as the fight went on.
Yeah, like he's getting stronger the entire time.
So he starts out being just a cave troll, but then you see the spiked bones coming out of his jaws and his eyebrows as the fight goes on. It got a little ridiculous how Doomsday and Dawn of Justice could just make a nuclear explosion around him. It's like, okay, yeah. So here's the reboot. They finally decided, okay, we'll do.
I was chatting with Shadow.
Oh yeah. I mean, Invincible has been different.
Mm-hmm.
But this is another Superman start of the career movie. They got Lobo, Martian Manhunter, and Parasite in it. I have not seen this completely in full yet. I watched it partway through before I unsubscribed from HBO Max. But Lobo was pretty funny while he was in it.
Mm-hmm. Is this supposed to be part of that My Adventures with Superman?
No. The animated movies are separate as of right now. Although
Gotcha.
they do, with the animated movies, they do have some Elseworlds movies since their reboot, like Red Sun, which I'm going to get to after this one. But I left off the point after the Parasite was formed because Lobo had some kind of weird sticky slime grenade that he ended up dropping on the janitor, so the janitor became the Parasite.
Okay.
But they go into this point where, anything like even heat will strengthen the Parasite. So when Superman tries to heat Vision Parasite, he just gets bigger.
Okay. And that the parasite is the purple monster on the
Right.
correct? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who watched a lot of the, I guess, animated Superman, the parasite looked a lot more like like a purple man, basically.
Sure.
But here, it's kind of a little more scary how he almost looks like a xenomorph for the, I guess I'll say Zilla for fake Godzilla.
Right. Yeah, he's got that really big, that really, really big chin.
Yeah. So that's it for there. And then there's Red Sun, which is pretty much the last. I do like the graphic novel because it's not constrained for time. The Mark Miller graphic novel is longer and it goes through more details, more stories in it. Mm-hmm. I recommend the graphic novel more over this. So, yeah, it's basically, and plus the ending twist is what made Red Sun the best, and they, cut that out of this one.
Yeah, I don't know the comic. As soon as I saw Superman was a communist, I was like, all right, no, this is already terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it gets interesting. It's an Elseworld story. It was the last one. Parasite, the man behind the killing. Oh, and if we're talking about Man of Tommorrow, well, Man of Tommorrow was mostly because Lobo came there for a bounty on Superman, and Martian Manhunter's helping teach Superman how to be a superhero. That's what Man of Tommorrow was, and I kind of liked it because Martian Manhunter is also an alien trying to live with people, so it kind of felt interesting to me how it's him teaching Superman in this case.
Oh, I read that comment as like a Five Nights at Freddy's reference too.
Oh, oh, no, that makes
animatronic suits aren't possessed.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the whole idea is that even if Superman grew up a different way, like he landed in the USSR in this one, in the Elseworlds, he could still potentially come to realize that the good ideals were the right ones, potentially still figure it out. There's also different versions of Brainiac. And of course, Lex Luthor in this one is still American. So different alternate characters of the Red Sun universe, including Wonder Woman, Bizarro, Green Lantern, Batman, and so on. So, yeah, they also changed a lot, such as how some of the characters were in this one. Like the plot twist at the end was one of the best parts of it, but because the plot twist at the end is you find out that the Krypton in this one is just Earth in the future. Everyone on Earth is like, we don't experience sickness anymore. We feel so arrogant, so let's just stay here on Earth, and then Earth gets blown up. So it's essentially a time travel loop where he's not from another planet; he's from the future.
Interesting. Okay,
but they missed that big plot twist in this one. So that was my big disappointment, is how they left out, the big plot twist. And I mean, the fight scenes are okay, but they left out the big plot twist that Mark Miller gave it at the end. And it kind of loses what makes Red Sun the story that it is. So, I mean, as someone who has the novel by Mark Miller, I'd say get the graphic novel instead. It's better. Well, yeah, I mean, Lex Luthor has been a lot of things. Originally, he was just a scientist who hid underground, like he is in the first Christopher Reeve movie. Him being a guy with a billionaire with his own company has been mostly a product of after Crisis on Infinite Earths. So, but it's so this one was my perhaps one of my biggest disappointments out of this, because they left out so much from the story.
Can you tell me what time we're going to?
Coming up later on the podcast.
So we're going to be talking about those 90s comic book movies you may not know, and which I had to go onto Amazon to watch them. And I did get a DVD for Dick Tracy, and because I had a fun time laughing at it, so why not? And we'll also be talking about games again with Ocarina of Time. So it should be fun.
Neat. Yay.
So thank you everyone for stopping by. And I'll actually, before I do that, I want to just go to the chat. I mean, yeah, I did feel that they changed a lot of things in Invincible. But I have to admit, some of it was, the original authors said yes to that. So I don't know. I mean, it's his work.
Yeah, I like most people. I got more into the comics and everything after the show came out, because I was like, wow, that first season was actually pretty solid. Let's see what else is going on. And then I started seeing all the differences, and I was like, oh, all right. So yeah, they're all just terrible. I was not, especially like, because Amber is universally hated for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
And the later seasons are just blitzing straight through everything they can, instead of focusing on the stories that they should have. Because when I was over on Technically Mexican's channel, the crew of guys were like, yeah, the season 3, I think is the current one, was like, yeah, it's good. And I was like, no, it's bad. Here's my reasons. And eventually they were like, yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, even when it was announced, my biggest concern was that they try to rush it to the end. I mean, you're talking about a series that lasted 10 years in comic book publication at Image Comics. So it's just like, that was my concern, is they want to rush to what you saw at the end. It's like, no, I hope they enjoy the ride. I hope audiences can enjoy the ride a little bit.
Yeah. And they really just kept screwing a lot of things up. I did not particularly care for a lot of the stories afterward, because a lot of it feels like they're trying to just, and this is the comics too in particular. I don't care for them basically trying to repeat what they did in the first like major story arc with Omni-Man being evil, and basically everything they're doing is trying to make parallels as well as continue it.
Right.
They're repeating themselves only a few arcs later, which is not good. They're doing everything in an inferior manner. There's a lot that's like, Invincible is a mess. I get why people like it, because that first arc is actually decently handled.
Right.
Like,
right now, it
the
just
majority
feels
of
like
it's a
they're trying to rush to the end. It's like, take your time. I would be enjoyed by. I mean, with Superman in particular, I just enjoy getting to have an ongoing series, because you don't really get that with Superman very much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of the time it's you get a movie, and the movies are, you have a limited time frame for the movies. But what I got with Superman the animated series was that you got, say, 2 really full seasons. Season 3 was spent on crossovers, and then season 4 was cut really short. But you got something that felt like it was an ongoing story, like they weren't trying to get to the end so fast, and they're really trying to get the many stories they had over the years about Superman. Yeah, I'm thinking of Brain More. I'm thinking about talking about Dark Man. It's an early Sam Raimi film, and it was heavily inspired by the other one I'm showing in the picture called The Shadow. And I was also thinking about talking about, say, Dick Tracy, Phantom, and Phantom, Tank Girl. I'm trying to remember the ones, but it should be easy. Should be pretty fun. Because I'm sure plenty of you in the audience have seen quite a number. I've seen some of them. So, like, they're trying to rush in Arcane as well. Shadow, are they like trying to rush to the end?
I've heard season 2 takes a big dive in quality, because I know everybody is still rants and raves about Arcane season 1, but as far as I know, season 2 was kind of dead in the water. I still haven't had time to sit down and watch them.
I was thinking of live action Braymore, but I could do a later episode of, because so many animated movies out there from the 80s and 90s, so it could be done in a later episode. But so far, yeah, it was nice catching up there. So the next 2 weeks are pretty simple. We're going to talk about live action comic book movies and talking about Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. It should be fun for both of those.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to say thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, Shadow, Bram, Gas, thank you. I will be streaming Doom today, so that everyone can talk. Everyone can enjoy the holiday for tomorrow.
Oh,
so
good.
I'll probably end up beating Doom